Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. Cunha has signed officially for Manchester United. It has just come out now. We're going to have all the pictures and the quotes. We have Jason Wilcox talking. We have Matheus Cunha himself talking. The official first signing of the summer transfer window. Ruben Amorim's first summer signing, Matheus Cunha, official. He's wearing the Manchester United new shirt. They've got him out there. The pictures are coming out. We cannot wait to go through that and go through his quotes. Also, Victor Gyokeres or Victor Osimhen. Mark broke the news earlier that Manchester United could go back in for talks with Victor Osimhen, and he is genuinely a realistic target for Manchester United if Victor Osimhen is ready to play ball. I'm going to go through some of their stats and also would Manchester United pivot to Victor Osimhen? There's more news coming out from Portugal. Do you actually believe the reports? They are very mixed at the moment between Victor Gyokeres and whether he's going to go to Arsenal or Manchester United. Could some of the story be manipulated a little bit? We will go through that, and also some stuff on Anthony exit, Sancho exit. We'll get into that towards the end of the show, but make sure you get your comments in, get interactive in the chat. A little bit late, only a few minutes, because the Cunha official just dropped, and we want to get everything to you as quick as we can and get everything on screen so we can show it to you guys live. So get your comments in and let us know what you think. So starting off, we will go with Cunha and his pictures and the quotes. Let me get it in. And this is the first time I'm reading it as well. It is literally just dropped here. And it is the press release, and it says, Manchester United completes the signing of Matheus Cunha. Just in time, by the way, for the new shirt. Get in the comments down below what you think about the new shirt. Are you going to be getting it? Are you not? Are you against that? Let me know. Manchester United is pleased to confirm that the transfer of Matheus Cunha from Wolverhampton Wanderers has been completed. The 26-year-old Brazilian international forward has signed a contract until June 2030 with the option of an additional year. And this is what Matheus Cunha had to say. It's hard to put into words my feelings about becoming a Manchester United player. Ever since I was a child in Brazil, watching the Premier League games on TV in my grandmother's house, United was my favourite English team, and I dreamed of wearing the red shirt. I want to thank my family and everyone who has helped me make that dream a reality. I cannot wait for the start of pre-season to get to know my teammates and prepare for the season ahead. All my focus is now on working hard to become a valuable part of the team and helping this club get back to the top. Absolutely love it from Matheus Cunha, and I really love this signing. And I know people have had their queries and frustrations with Manchester United transfer windows over the past decade, even maybe going further back than that. But this is a really, really good signing, and I really like the player. I love the fact he's chosen Manchester United despite us being in a difficult place, despite us not having Champions League football, despite us not having European football. And no matter what any rival fan says, Arsenal have been in for Cunha multiple times. Newcastle were in for Cunha and wanted to sign him. Both clubs with Champions League football, and he wanted Manchester United. He wanted to be part of bringing Manchester United back to the top. And people can talk about wages all day long. He was on 150 grand at Wolves per week. He's going up to 200 grand a week. It's not an absolutely huge jump. It's a good wage for a player of his experience and what he can deliver. It's fantastic. It's a brilliant, brilliant signing. I love his attitude. I love his mentality. I love the fact he's tailor-made for Amorim's system. That left-sided 10 role is just... it's a position that he is perfect for. He can also be versatile and play up front if needed. He's got that confidence about him. He's got that bite. He's got that South American grit where he's going to fight for every single thing on the football pitch. I really, really do like it. Also, Nottingham Forest were very, very interested in him. And of course, you'd expect Manchester United to win a race against Nottingham Forest, but they did have European football to offer. And Matheus Cunha has still chosen to go to Manchester United, where we're in our worst possible spot. He's chosen to join this project, and I really like the words that he's spoken there about the club and about his future at the club and what he wants to do with this club. I like it a lot. I like his mentality. I like his personality. I think it's a really good signing. Hopefully, Mbeumo will follow pretty soon, because he also strikes me as having that same mentality. And United still, and this is why we really need to get back to our best very, very soon. You saw the numbers come out yesterday. The viewing figures for the Premier League fell off last season. And do you want to know why that is? Because a bad Manchester United side makes a bad Premier League season. Like, people aren't as interested if Manchester United aren't doing well. Like, Manchester United is the biggest club in England. We need us back at the top, back competing. And we also need it so we continue to have this pull. Our history is absolutely huge. And it's drifted a little bit, the pull that we have. It's gone a little bit weaker, but it's still there. You know, Manchester United is huge all across the world. And like Cunha said when he was growing up in Brazil, it's huge in South America. It's huge everywhere. You've still got these footballers that grew up on the history of Manchester United, that have dreamed of playing for Manchester United. If we don't get back to the top pretty soon, the new generation, they're going to grow up still watching Manchester United. We're still one of the biggest clubs in the world, but not knowing a successful Manchester United. They're going to see a successful Liverpool, a successful, well, if they can actually ever win a trophy, a successful Arsenal, successful Manchester City. I hate to say it. Like, we need to get back up there so this continues and we build on the amazing history that we've had, which is why we can still attract players like this. Also, Jason Wilcox, director of football, has said this about Matheus Cunha. Bringing in Matheus was one of our main priorities for this summer, so we are delighted to have completed his signing so early in the window. I'm also delighted by that fact as well. Credit where it's due. He has proved his ability to succeed in the Premier League as one of the most exciting and productive forwards in England during his time at Wolves, and before that in Spain and Germany. He has all the qualities we are looking for, and we seek to build a strong and dynamic and entertaining team capable of challenging for the biggest honours. So, yeah, I really do. I agree with everything Jason Wilcox said there. I think obviously, you know, he's going to come out speaking positively about Cunha and this signing. I like the fact it was quick. I like the signing. I like the abilities that he's got. I like the fact that we went straight in for him. We got it done. I like all that. Now we need to be quick with our other signings because Mbeumo, it's taking a little while. Man United are being slow on that one when we're meant to be being fast. The striker, which was our main priority going into the window, Delap snubbed us. That was our number one. And now we're kind of, are we going to get Gyokeres? Are we going to pivot to Osimhen? What are we going to do? Do we need outgoings? Is Mbeumo still happening? It is. Everybody, don't worry about that. It is going to happen. It's just Manchester United are really slow. We need to speed up on the other deals now. Like, people will call me greedy. Yeah, it's Manchester United. Cunha is brilliant. I'm very happy with it, but it's not enough. It's nowhere near enough. We need to keep up with this window and keep going with the same momentum, and I don't want us to slow down. We have to build a team for Amorim that is able to compete. We have to bring in players for him for pre-season. He was very adamant on it. Behind the scenes, he's pushing massively for better players, for better signings, and the reason he's doing that is because if he doesn't get the right signings in this summer, he will more than likely lose his job next season. Like, that is more than likely going to happen because this set of players have proved this season to not deliver results for him. There's some gems in there. You have got the gems. You've got the Euro. You've got the Ahmad. I'm very happy that we've kept Bruno despite what maybe some Manchester United fans wanted. But we need to build a better team around these players, and Ruben Amorim needs it because we want him to be successful. And for him to be successful and to him avoid the pressure and the results of last season, we need to build a stronger team. And Cunha's not going to solve every single one of our problems, but it's a huge step in the right direction. A huge step. The goal contributions, we've lacked a great ball carrier in our team for a very long time. The perfect age, the perfect experience levels for what we need. Premier League proven, knows how to find the back of the net, clinical. It's exactly what I want at Manchester United. So more of the same, please. And I'm glad we're going down the same route of Premier League proven with Mbeumo, but we need to get a hurry on. But Thomas Frank has just been official at Spurs. I don't know if Spurs have officially announced it yet, but I see stuff as official when I see David Ornstein put it out, I'm going to be honest. And he says that the Thomas Frank deal is done. So hopefully that will free up some Brentford representatives to get cracking on this deal with Mbeumo, which should hopefully be wrapped up pretty soon. Who would you sign, Gyökeres or Osimhen? Get your votes down in the chat right now. Prank Football Games said, I work with Mbeumo's dad. Here we go soon, trust me. We had a super chat from you previously about this, but, you know, I could have got on a burner account and put that super chat in. So as much as I like the vote of confidence, it's not exactly Ornstein and Romano levels of reporting there. But yeah, we'll see. CK Win says the arrogance saying the Prem fell off because Manchester United were bad. Main character syndrome at its finest. That's not arrogance. It's in front of you. Manchester United have their worst ever season in the Premier League and the numbers have dropped. Manchester United factually are the biggest team in England and are the most watched team in England worldwide. That is factual information. It's not arrogance. It's out there. We are the biggest club in England. It's not main character syndrome. It's, in my opinion, that could be one of the reasons that the viewing figures dropped. No one wants to watch a bad Manchester United side. When we are the biggest club in England, there's always going to be more eyes on you, especially, if you're competing for the top prizes and the top honours. I can guarantee you, if we moved into some sort of different dimension and magically Ruben Amorim managed to cast a spell on this Manchester United side and we were competing for a Premier League next season, which isn't going to happen, but if we were, even if we were competing for top 4 really, the viewing figures would go through the roof. If Manchester United were competing for a Premier League next season, the viewing figures would go through the roof. It would. And if you don't think that, I think you're in denial, to be honest with you. Gyökeres or Osimhen, get your comments in the chat because we have some news on that, but very happy to have our first signing in Cunha. And did you see what he posted on his Instagram as well? It's a dream to be a Manchester United player following his dreams. That's what we want. This is what we want. Gyökeres, Osimhen, take note. I get it. We're in 15th place. We're in a bad spot right now, but we need proper players with proper quality that have respect for this badge and this club and want to join Manchester United and want to be one of the players that bring Manchester United back to the top. So this is where we're at on the Gyökeres and Osimhen stuff because more news has come out. So this came out from Portuguese outlet. Manchester United are keeping Gyökeres on their radar and are even ready to make an official offer of 60 million euros fixed plus 10 million euros in add-ons, which is also outside of what Sporting want. To make matters worse, United have encountered obstacles in negotiating with the Swedish international himself. Basically saying that United's offer is going to be too low and that they've struggled in negotiating with Gyökeres. I'm going to be completely honest, I don't believe it. I don't believe anything around this story until Romano or Ornstein bring something that's hard-hitting on this and makes me worry, because I know we've been speaking a lot about the odds and the betting odds when it comes to Gyökeres, and we did check them before we did the show, and Paddy Power Sky Bet still have Arsenal 3-1 for Gyökeres and have Manchester United odds on. And that same report also said that Arsenal had put in an official bid. So it's very mismatched, it's very confusing. This is a news show, I'm going to bring in the news, but I would steer clear right now of the Portuguese reports. I think there's a lot being pushed out there. It's a big story. Manchester United and Arsenal's names are big within this story. Gyökeres is one of the biggest players in the Portuguese league. It's going to create headlines. When you're saying Arsenal are making an official bid and that United are going to make an official bid before the likes of the Romanos and the Ornsteins, I just really, really struggle to believe it. And I don't think Manchester United are in a place right now to even make a bid for Gyökeres. I think it's going to come way down the line. I think United will think about whether they're going to continue with Gyökeres, especially if things heat up on the Arsenal side of things. We heard this morning that Osimhen could be back on the table. I don't think Manchester United are going to rush into anything. What we do know is that Amorim is in constant conversation with Victor Gyökeres. His stance did change. He wanted Champions League football and European football. It has changed a little bit and he's open to joining Manchester United, as per Ben Jacobs, as per Romano. Other outlets have put that out as well. Is that because Arsenal pivoted to Sesko, so Gyökeres thought, hang on a second, I do want to leave Sporting this summer, and Manchester United might be the only other side that are properly in for me as of now. You've heard murmurs about Juventus, murmurs about PSG and Atletico, but it seems like Arsenal and United are the main two. And Arsenal, I think, might be using Gyökeres to lower Leipzig's price on Sesko. I think their priority is Sesko. And the reason why they are lining both deals up is to get Leipzig to lower their price on Sesko. I think it's a negotiation tactic. And I think that's why Gyökeres changed his stance. I don't think United will have issues with personal terms with Gyökeres. He knows Amorim very well. They have a great relationship. Apparently he's become open to joining Manchester United and not having European football. I don't think we'll have issues on the personal side of things. I think the only reason we'd have issues with Gyökeres is if he wants to move before Manchester United can afford to do it. Currently, we're focused on getting Mbeumo over the line, then we're focusing on outgoings and using that money to go and get a striker. United have been asked to be kept informed on the Gyökeres situation and other clubs in the race. For example, if Arsenal did randomly put a bid in tomorrow, United would want to be informed on that because they might want to jump in and put the other plans on hold, and they might want to take that risk to go and bid for Gyökeres before selling. It's risky, but they might want to do it. But Amorim is in conversations with Gyökeres, and that is happening. And I think we would be able to do this deal because I think Arsenal are going to go for Sesko. And I think if Arsenal are out of the picture, we really do have a strong chance at this one. I think Arsenal's the only club he really had above United, and he did have Arsenal above us, because if Arsenal get a striker, they'd be very close to winning the Premier League and the Champions League, in my opinion. They have that ability. I think they've been missing a striker for a long time. They're way ahead of their rebuild than we are, despite the fact they've not won trophies. I think that striker's that missing cherry on top of the cake for them to get them over the line. However, I do think they'll go for Sesko, so I don't believe the Portuguese reports about United and Arsenal both making bids. I think United are currently focused on Mbeumo. I think they're thinking about the options at striker, but Victor Gyökeres is definitely a contender in there. Got more super chats coming in. Rob Always United says, we'll have the most dangerous attack in the Premier League. Well, I want to ask you a few questions, right? So, if United do manage to pull off Mbeumo and Gyökeres to add to the Cunha signing, where does that attack rank in the league? Like, where does it rank? Just on the attack, I'm not saying where will United finish, just that front three, where does it rank in the league from top to bottom? Like, where would you rank it? Would you rank it top 4 attacks in the league, top 3, top 5, top 1? Let us know in the comments. And I'll go through them as well. I'm trying to think about that myself as well, to be honest with you. Chris Buserick says maybe they were waiting for the new jersey to drop to make the signing so that they hold up the new one, and also for shirt sales. Yeah, they probably were. I also think Cunha was on holiday as well. Maybe he did these pictures before he went on holiday. I'm not sure. I think he actually probably did, because I seen he posted he was in LA the other day. Or today, so on his Instagram. So maybe he had the new shirt on beforehand and he couldn't post it because the new shirt wasn't out yet. It makes sense from a business point of view. You want to sell the new shirt, you want to promote the new shirt with the new signing. I get it. Like, I'm not too bothered about that. It's financially smart and it makes sense. Like, if Cunha was holding up the old shirt, it wouldn't make sense, and if he was holding up the new shirt before it was even out, then it kind of kills the kit reveal, doesn't it? Alan Noonan says, not worried, Beth. I'm not worried about Mbeumo. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. I promise you I'm not. Slightly. Mikael Anderson says, if we get Gyökeres and Mbeumo, the attack is deadly. Red Wizard 7 says, how did we go from no chance to 99% to no chance? I don't think I ever said 99% or no chance, to be honest with you. Cyber Spider says, here's a question for you. Would we have been better if we signed Kane back then? I don't think so. Wingers would have been greedier. Kane supplying more pressure on team. We wouldn't be getting Gyökeres now. I mean, I think that's way too hard to even determine. If you ask me who would have been a better player for Manchester United, Harry Kane or Rasmus Højlund, absolutely Harry Kane. But would we even have Amorim right now if we signed Harry Kane? It might have changed things. I don't know. You can't really go back. It's the butterfly effect, isn't it? Valentin Balibsa says, if we don't sign Gyökeres, I will come and play myself. Can you score as many goals? And we have Mikael Anderson says, I only dare to dream of that attack if we won the Europa League. Exactly. Like, honestly, I felt like that. I mean, we've only signed one player, but I felt like so much was put on winning the Europa League. Like, Amorim was saying it was really bad if we didn't win it. I thought we were going to be absolutely... I thought we were signing no one this transfer window. I thought we were signing Cunha and Delap, and that'd be curtains. That's what I thought was going to happen. But we've missed out on the 100 million that we would have got from winning that. And we're still, you know, Cunha and Mbeumo very much want to go for Gyökeres. A lot of it is because we're selling. We're selling Garnacho, we're selling Anthony, we're selling Sancho, we're selling Rashford, hopefully. Hopefully they don't all end up as like loan obligations to buys. We are selling and we're getting rid of wages, big wages. So that is a reason for it. But that attack will have completely transformed, like completely. Where I would rank it, I'm seeing what some of you guys would say. A lot of you guys are saying top 4, top 3. I'm trying to think who would be better. I mean, if you get Osimhen, it really gets very, very interesting. I'm trying to think whose attack would be better than ours with them players. I think Mbeumo is absolutely... I mean, Mbeumo was one of the best performers in the Premier League last season, forward players. So was Cunha. And then Gyökeres has just absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it. Like, his numbers are off the scale. If you get Osimhen, we know how good he is. Osimhen would be my number 1 pick. He's insane. You've got to rank it. You've got to rank it high. You really have. Do I rank it higher than Arsenal's? Sesko, Saka and Martinelli. Saka's incredible. I think Sesko's raw but good. Martinelli's like decent. Cunha and Mbeumo and Gyökeres, Sesko, Saka and Martinelli. I think I'd rank ours higher. I think I would. Like, obviously you've not put them 3 players together yet, so you don't know how it's going to gel, but I think ours would rank higher. And people might call me absolutely crazy for that, but maybe I just look at what Mbeumo was doing for Brentford. Look at what Cunha was doing for Wolves, and then if you look at what Gyökeres has done, I mean, obviously you might put all 3 of them together and it might not work. Like, that could happen, but I don't see how it doesn't work. All of them have fantastic output, or not only have fantastic output, are great players as well, intelligent players. So it's exciting. Liverpool's will still be better. Yeah, Liverpool. I think Liverpool's obviously is going to be up there. Just mainly they have Salah. Salah's absolutely ridiculous, and they are going to go for a striker as well. So I think Liverpool's will still obviously be top. City have Haaland. They have Dockett. I'm trying to think about City's other players. They've got Marmoush. Like, City have got some good ones. Newcastle do as well. Isak, for me, probably best striker in the Premier League. Anthony Gordon's a good player. Harvey Barnes, I also think, is a good player. But Newcastle are up there. They've got some good players, and I think they're going to sign Elanga. So where would you rank them? I'm just trying to think of it off the top of my head, but there is still some very good attacks in the league. But Gyökeres, Cunha, and Mbeumo really does rank highly, in my opinion. Kevin says, Beth, I know Gyökeres is a very good player, but if we are not his first priority in Arsenal is, why should we make him our first priority? I get that, Kevin, but beggars can't be choosers. Like Liam Delap, who, no disrespect to Liam Delap, because, you know, he's obviously done very well for himself, got relegated with Ipswich, chose Chelsea over us. Like, we're not many people's first choice at the minute. I would love us to be. And that's why I love the signings of Cunha and Mbeumo so much, but we're just not. Like, you can't expect us to be either when we're 15th place with no European football. The fact he's still open and willing to come, and Amorim knows his personality, is why I would still want to go for him, because Amorim knows him and knows his mentality and his reasonings for joining the club. And I don't think Amorim would want anyone to come who wasn't aligned with his mentality. Valentin says, play Mbeumo as 9 and we wing Cunha and Ahmad. No, we still need a number 9, in my opinion. We absolutely still need a number 9. Matty says, Mbeumo is going to Spurs, dream on. No, he's not. He's not. He wants to join Manchester United. So unless Manchester United royally mess that up, Mbeumo will be a United player, despite the fact that Thomas Frank has gone to Tottenham. Let me speak a little bit on the news from this morning, because I just want to get my opinion out there. Mark said that per his source, who I don't know who his source is, by the way, but his source has got a lot of things right. Per his source, some are saying Heinz, ketchup, mayo, barbecue, whichever you want. No, but per Goldbridge's source, however much you want to believe that, but they have got a lot of things right, that Manchester United would be very willing to open talks with Victor Osimhen, and he would be a dream signing for them. But the reason they've not done that is because of his wage demands, and they would need him to want to join Manchester United and not just use Manchester United to kind of play off PSG, Saudi, other potential suitors that want him. Now, here's my stance on this. As of now, we had Ben Jacobs on the show. Galatasaray are going full steam ahead trying to sign Osimhen, and they are in deep talks, right? And PSG did have an agreement with him. They might go back in, but as of now, aren't in that race. Nobody else has really been mentioned. I don't think Chelsea's going to go there. They've just got Delap in. They've looked at Ekitike. I don't think they're going to go back there. So, from my stance, right, Victor Osimhen has turned down Saudi for a reason. He had the opportunity to go and earn shed loads, and I mean shed loads of money. It's Saudi, and he's turned that down. If he is deep into talks with Galatasaray, no disrespect to Galatasaray, a very well-respected club in the Turkish league, but playing for Galatasaray in Turkey or playing for Manchester United in the Premier League, they're not going to be able to offer more money than what we're going to be able to offer. I doubt that anyway. And the Premier League is a more well-respected league in terms of its demands and the quality of the league. Like the Turkish league, good league, but the Premier League blows out the water. So if we went in there with a serious offer and Osimhen agreed to go on the same wage structure that the rest of our players are on, which is a very good wage, but then if you don't get Champions League football, it is deducted, but it'd still be a good wage. I assume it would be anyway. Why would we not go for Osimhen? And I tweeted about this yesterday. It pains me that we haven't even tried to go for Osimhen. And if Arsenal going back in for Gyökeres and this situation where the sporting president is demanding more money for Victor Gyökeres than what was initially thought to be agreed in the 60 plus 10 million euros, and it's just out of United's budget, we know that Napoli will let Victor Osimhen go for around £65 million, 60 to £65 million. We know that. That is great money for a striker of his qualities. If you can get Osimhen, which I believe that Osimhen turned down Saudi for legacy. If he wanted money, he would have gone to Saudi. He wants to stay competitive. He wants to stay competing in the best leagues in Europe. So why don't United go and try and have that conversation? Because as much as I do like Gyökeres, and I would be buzzing, I'd be over the moon if we signed Gyökeres, I don't believe all this, he's not good enough for the Prem, he's just a upgraded version of Rasmus Højlund. I don't believe all that. I was watching quite a bit of him yesterday, actually, yesterday afternoon, and the way he picks his spot, his striking ability, his positional play. I think Gyökeres is top drawer, I really do, and I'd be happy if we got him. But out of the two, who I would personally prefer, I just think I have more confidence in Osimhen coming off because of the experience he's had within Europe and how long he's been at it for, the start of his career until now. Both of them I'd be happy with, but I personally would rather go for Osimhen, but I would not turn my nose up at either. I'd be very happy with both. And the only way we can do Osimhen, and I wouldn't want to put him on a different payment plan to all of the other players. I get Manchester United's stance. We have to stand firm. If all of our other players are on a certain wage and then it gets deducted if we don't get Champions League football, Osimhen would have to follow that. You can't fracture the wage structure and fracture the dressing room. But if you go to Victor Osimhen and say, look, we want you to lead Manchester United back to the top. We believe you have them capabilities. We've got Cunha and Mbeumo in. We want you to be our striker. We want you to be our starting striker. Look, we're willing to offer you 290, 300 grand a week, and then 290, 300 grand a week is what I was saying, and then like 240 if we don't have Champions League football. I think Osimhen would seriously consider it, especially if Galatasaray are the only other players right now in that race. Of course, PSG might come into the equation. They might, and they might be able to offer more. And I think that's what Manchester United are worried about. Other clubs might come in. But as we know it now, Chelsea aren't going to go for him. And he's turned down Saudi. He's not staying at Napoli. The only other suitors we've heard about as of now is Galatasaray. Open them conversations and at least have the conversation with Osimhen is what I would be doing, especially when you don't know how the Gyökeres situation is going to play out, because it's going to be embarrassing if we really go for that and then he ends up going for Arsenal and we don't know how much the sporting president is actually going to demand and whether we can afford that. And we have always had a good relationship with Sporting, but you just don't know. I would assume we'd be able to strike a deal with Sporting. But just how, Gyökeres and Sporting might be playing Arsenal and United off each other, why don't we play it off each other? You know what? If we can't get there with Gyökeres, let's go and have these conversations with Victor Osimhen. Let's go and do it. because he would be absolutely elite in the Premier League. I genuinely do believe that. I think he's got all the attributes. I've said it for a long time. He's got pace, he's got power, his anticipation of where to be in the boxes is fantastic, and he's got that confidence that you need to be a Manchester United striker. I like him, and I don't buy into this attitude issues, behavioural issues. I think it got massively blown out of proportion at Napoli, and I think the reason him and Napoli fell out, I can understand it from his perspective. What if you actually look at what happened with the social media posts around him, I get why their relationship became fractured, and he's been scoring goals ever since he came onto the scene. He's brilliant. So that's my stance on it. Get in the comments down below what you think as well. Get voting in the poll. I'm going to read that out in a second. The only thing I would say is, could you imagine if Liverpool go in for Osimhen? Like, just imagine that, because that could happen. I could see that happening. Do you want to know why I could see that happening? They've got money. Clearly, they didn't sign anyone apart from Kaiser and maybe a goalkeeper, backup goalkeeper last summer. They had the money from when they tried to sign Caicedo for over 100 mil. I mean, they've just spent a big chunk of it on Florian Wirtz. 150 million euros. Wow. Immense money. If United did that, by the way, we would be getting it left, right and centre. I get Florian Wirtz looks like the best up-and-coming midfielder in the world, the best cam in the world, up-and-coming, but that's still a hell of a lot of money. Like, if he flops in any capacity, they have the capability to get absolutely rinsed, but you just know he's not going to flop. You know he's going to be absolutely insane. I think Liverpool are going to win the league again next year, and they're going to go ahead of us in titles, and I just don't even want to think about it. But anyway, they've got money, and their first choice striker, because Darwin Núñez is going to go, it looks like he's going to go to Saudi. Do you know how much they want for Darwin Núñez? They want around 80 million euros, if I'm not mistaken. And knowing Saudi, they'll probably pay that. And I'm not saying knowing Saudi is in Saudi overpay, because they don't. They don't overpay anymore to us, but they've always give Liverpool very good fees for their players. They're good at selling Liverpool, they really are. But say if they got even 50 for Darwin Núñez, and that's me massively watering it down. I don't think he's worth anywhere near 80 million euros, by the way, but say they got 50, right? That's more money coming into the pot for them. Ekitike, the Frankfurt representatives, was it the Frankfurt CEO? Let me actually get up exactly what happened. Because Ekitike was Liverpool's #1 target. Well, the #1 target going into the summer for striker was actually Alexander Isak, but that's impossible to do because Newcastle getting Champions League football, they are going to want to keep hold of him, and I think as long as Newcastle had Champions League football, Isak was willing to stay. This is what the Frankfurt director said on Hugo Ekitike, who then became Liverpool's first choice when Isak was off the table. Ekitike was their first choice. This was reported at the start of the window. If the price isn't right, then he will stay with us. Frankfurt won 100 million euros. So Frankfurt won 100 million euros for Hugo Ekitike, right? And he was then Liverpool's top target after Isak became off the table. And I know what people say, well, they've just paid 150 million euros for Wirtz, so they might go and just pay that for Ekitike if they really, really want him. They might, but when you've just paid 150 million euros for a midfielder, are you really going to go and drop another 100 million euros on a striker? They might do. They might have a lot of money to spend this summer, Liverpool. But they could look at other options on the market, and Osimhen could be someone that they end up going for, you know, add that experience up front. You never know. So let's watch that. I think it's definitely one to watch, and the striker market is got a lot of moving parts this summer, and I think there's a long way to go. A long way to go on this. Jason Hanna says, I expect Wirtz to get 4 assists a game. Remember what Graham Souness said about Pogba? Yes, Jason, I do remember. I do remember. Honestly, did you see the other day when Cunha missed a header for Brazil and it got clipped up left, right and centre, like already missing easy chances? Wirtz is signed for Liverpool for 150 million euros, and don't get me wrong, I do think Wirtz is absolutely fantastic. You know, one of the best up-and-coming midfielders in the world. I get that. I still think they've paid too much. I think 150 million euros is insane. That's what I'd expect to pay for, like, Yamal, for example. Like, Wirtz is very, very good, but he's still got a long way to go. A long way to go. But he might... I think I think he will do well. I really do think he will do well. But if United had just paid 150 million for Florian Wirtz, he would be getting clipped up left, right and centre. He'd be all across the media. He'd be getting rinsed completely. Like, Cunha already is getting it. Already. And he was the best player apparently for Brazil the other night. I didn't watch the game, but I was looking online and he got the highest rating and apparently he was the best player. But yeah, one opportunity he missed got clipped up and put everywhere. So just keep an eye on that one. Zlazy says, couldn't we just offer Osimhen 200 grand a week and then a sign-on bonus of 3 million, which would add up to 250 grand a week? He'll be happy. Plus, it looks better wage-wise for us. I think that's a good point. Kai says, if Garnacho wasn't our player and he was coming off the season he just had, would you support us spending 50 million to go and get him? No, probably not. But that's probably because, that's because he's not what we need right now. He doesn't suit Amorim's system, and we don't need young players that have got potential that have had maybe a couple of issues with managers before. We need a player that's got experience and has got a proven track record of delivering. I think other clubs that are way more advanced than what we are and have a better structure than what we are, have a better culture and a better dressing room, it's worth taking the risk on Garnacho. Play a different system, play wingers that play at touchline wingers that go out wide and go out for the fullbacks. A team that has that solid dressing room, a solid coach with a structure and play that system and have got senior players already really could take that risk on Garnacho because of the potential he's got. So he's just not suited to us right now. So no, but he could be suited to other teams. Like, for example, I think he'd do great under a Conte. I think he'd do great under a Unai Emery. Them sort of managers that are renowned for getting the best out of players and building players' careers. Emmanuel says, Gyökeres and Osimhen, we are good to go. Harvey says, got to be within the top 3 tacks in the league. I just know that I'm just thinking about it from before, right? I just know that the clip of me saying Cunha and Bumo and Gyökeres is probably a better front 3 than Saka, Sesko and Martinelli is just going to get clipped left, right and centre next season when somehow the curse of Manchester United strikes and Arsenal, go on and score like loads and loads of goals. I just know it's going to happen. I was like saying it in the moment and now I'm starting to regret that sentence, but we'll see. Anyway, last bits of news I wanted to bring in as well. So this is the Antony stuff. So Real Betis CEO has said, we are working on Antony. It's still very early. We are going little by little as there's a lot of market space to be filled. This is very long and it hasn't even really begun. So they are working on Antony. There was reports that they might put an option on a loan for £35 million. Option. Yeah, you're not going to trigger it though, are you? You're not going to trigger an option. Like, Real Betis keep trying to get as many loopholes out of us as possible. Like, just people are getting excited about that potential option of 35 million. It doesn't mean they're going to pay it. They'll probably just not trigger the option on Antony. We're not. I don't think United should do Real Betis another favour and do another loan. You got great output out of Antony. You got it for a very good price, and he delivered for you. It also helped us because it put Antony out there and it made people realise that there's still value in this player. So it kind of worked both ways. But another loan for Antony would just be silly. We need to sell him. And there will be other suitors coming to the party. There's been talks about Juventus as well. There will be somebody out there willing to pay a price. So, hopefully. So, I think Betis are going to try their hardest to get the best possible deal and get another loan. But I'm not doing that. And I think this could be one that takes a little while, unfortunately. And then on Sancho, the Mirror has reported that Spurs, Villa and Newcastle are all interested in Sancho. Spurs I can see because they need a left winger. Villa I can see because they're on the market for a left winger. Financially, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it because we know that they're going to need to sell. Emi Martinez is one of the names that we've been linked to because he might be able to go because Villa need to bring in money, and when they do bring in money, their main target for the window is a left-sided attacker. Rashford's not going to sign on because he wants Champions League football, he wants Barcelona, and they've been linked to Garnacho already, and Sancho is another left winger who they've been linked to previously. They were linked to him before he went to Chelsea or Dortmund that time. Villa were linked to Sancho, and Spurs, I can envision it. I honestly could envision it because, you know, Son isn't getting any younger. They do need a left winger. I don't see Newcastle going for him when they've got Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes. I really don't. However, what I will say to you is there's absolutely no way that all three of them teams are paying anywhere close to 300 grand a week for him. Just no way. So this is where we're at with Sancho, right? He's either going to have to compromise on his wage, or United are going to have to do a loan, and then he runs down his contract because his contract finishes next year, which would be terrible for us. Or United are going to have to pay off some of his wages and then get a smaller fee, so they'll get a reduced fee for him than what they would have got. So out of the fee that, say, Spurs or Villa or Newcastle, even if you believe this report, would be willing to pay for him, United would take, say if they were willing to pay like, what, 150 grand a week for him, United would have to take the 150 grand a week he's not getting out of the last year of his contract out of the transfer fee to pay Sancho off. I'm not sure how it would work, but it's not looking great for United, and I think this is a saga that, again, is probably going to last over the summer, because I think we're going to be in a situation where United, it's like, no more Mr. Nice Guy. We want fees for you, and that's the way we're doing it. We're not letting you just go out on loan to run your contract down. We're going to hold out until someone comes in and buys you, and you're going to have to take a wage cut. So it's going to be a standoff between Sancho and United. United want a fee, and they want to sell him. Sancho wants to keep his massive wage, and thinks the closer it gets to the deadline, they're not going to want to keep him around, and they'll bend and kind of come to an agreement on paying off his wages / letting him run his contract down on loan. I think it's going to be one of them. So Anthony, I think that's going to take a little bit of time, and Sancho as well. With the clubs that I've said to be interested in him, none of them are going to pay us a fee and 300 grand a week. It's just not going to happen. So someone's going to have to budge on that. Someone's going to have to budge, and I think it might end up being a loan, unfortunately, for Manchester United. But that's where we're out in the outgoings. We've heard nothing really about Marcus Rashford recently as well, which is a little bit concerning. But hopefully that's one that'll kind of start to pick up a bit more momentum. You know, Rashford's been posting his training clips back to full fitness. So now he's injury free. Clubs might start coming in, and especially Barcelona. 1 second, I'm going to bring in the super chats. I've seen the super chats. I will bring that in. There's been another report put out by this Portuguese outlet, and the Portuguese outlet is Mais Football. They have put out this now. It's from the same outlet that I read out the report I said I didn't really believe at the start of the show. They've said Arsenal have made an offer for Victor Gyokeres, but it's a fixed fee below 51 million that Sporting will not accept. United are now readying a bid of 51 million plus 8.5 million in add-ons, but this is still not enough. They are also starting to have problems with Gyokeres' camp. I don't believe it. I just don't. There's no way this is happening and bids are flying and Ornstein and Romano are not reporting on it. I just don't believe it, to be honest, but I brought it in. Party, like it says, Matheus Cunha, absolute baller, excited much, very excited. How would you rate the signing of Matheus Cunha out of 10? Drop it in the chat below. Out of 10, how would you rate it? Andreas Goose says, hi Beth, you missed my other super chats. I'm coming to him, don't worry, and welcome to United Members Club. AB says, Brentford have been my second team for years, and Mbeumo is the real deal and was always better than Watkins and Tony. Great buy if we can get him. I've loved watching Mbeumo for years as well. I have. I also guilty of watching a lot of Brentford. I like watching their games. I think Thomas Frank's a good manager, and I've always been impressed by Mbeumo. Jace, I've done that one. Andreas Goose says, Osimhen is good. I just don't think he will be as good as Gyökeres. Any payment structure should accept that a striker always gets paid on the top tier. Osimhen was proven to be, you know, top striker in Italy, a comment said after that. I get why you could think maybe Gyökeres is a better fit because he's worked with Amorim before. I get that side of things. I personally think if you just put ability-wise, both of them together, I think Osimhen just pips it, but I still think Gyökeres is quality, and I am not believing into that propaganda online about him not being able to suit the Premier League. Emmanuel says, Gyökeres or Osimhen, we are good to go. And I think I've done the rest of the super chat, so thank you everybody. Smash a like on the video. A lot of people saying 8s and 9s. I think 8's harsh. I think it's at least a 9 out of 10, to be honest with you. At least a 9. Anyway, thank you for watching thank you for watching, everyone. What's the poll ended on as well? I'll bring that in. 72% of you say Gyökeres. So Team Gyökeres in the chat. Team Gyökeres. Okay. The people have spoken. I would like either, to be honest with you. If I had to pick, I would go Osimhen. But if Gyökeres is better financially for us, then I'm completely behind that as well. If Gyökeres is what the manager wants, the main thing is what Ruben Amorim wants and what's best for his system, then let's go with that. I won't be complaining at either of them. The fact we've even got a chance to sign both of these strikers after the season we've had is pretty good going still. You never know, it might all turn on its head and we might end up with, you know, a D-list striker. That could easily happen. We are Manchester United, but let's see how this unfolds. Any more breaking news, we will bring it to you, so stay tuned for that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and let the striker saga commence. We will see you on the next one.